We are back with more What's Now, turning our attention to your health. You may be interested to know that the meningitis B vaccine is an important one, especially for young adults, and many have not gotten it. So it's interesting to hear more about this, why you need the vaccine, what you can do to find out if you or your child needs that. I recently spoke with Soleil Moon Frye. You may remember her as Punky Brewster, and a physician all about this. Let's take a look.
Many may know her as Punky Brewster or the star of Kid 90, but to her kids, she is known as Mom. In many ways, she still feels like a teen herself, and as a mom of 4, Soleil Moon Frye has learned many lessons raising her own teens, including prioritizing their health by helping to protect her 16-year-old against a potentially life-threatening illness as she starts to think about college. Now, for the second year, she is a spokesperson for a GSK campaign that raises awareness about meningitis B and vaccination. Soleil Moon Frye joins us today to discuss her life as a parent, bring us up to date on her career and her involvement in an important public health awareness campaign. Joining Soleil is her friend and pediatrician and GSK spokesperson, Dr. Shakha Gillin, with more about vaccinations, especially to help prevent meningitis. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here.
Soleil, bring us up to date on your latest projects.
Oh, it's been so busy. I've got my 4 kids, which are definitely my biggest project. And I am so excited to just be watching them grow and flourish. And I'm really proud of the work that I've been working on with a nonprofit incredibly close to my heart, Core Response. So very proud of Core, and it's such an honor to be able to work with them. And then Proud Family is on Disney Plus right now, and so excited to be part of the revival. And of course, my documentary, Kid 90, which is streaming on Hulu, and such a labor of love and so important to my heart and soul. And then today I get to partner with my dear friend Shakha, who has been one of my best friends since we were 14 years old. We met at a UB40 concert when we were little kids. It was super awesome, teenagers. And to be here today with Ask to Be Sure and GSK partnered with them is a true joy to raise awareness around a cause incredibly important to our hearts.
Soleil, why did you get involved in this campaign?
You know, I have these 4 beautiful kids, and as a mom, I want to protect them and nurture them and love them. And I have a 16-year-old about to go out in the world and college and thinking about where she's going to go to school. And I learned about meningitis B through a friend, and I really did not realize that meningitis B is completely different from meningitis, the vaccination that so often kids get when they're younger. And when I learned about it, I was so surprised, and I didn't realize how life-threatening it was. I reached out to my dear friend Shakha, who is so incredible, and I'm so grateful. You know, she's an amazing pediatrician, happens to also be one of my closest friends, and really to have that conversation and then to be able to talk to my daughter about it and to make a decision that was right for our family. And felt like if I wasn't aware of this, and there was probably so many other people that weren't aware of it. And so to be able to have this conversation, to inform ourselves, to help inform each other was really important to me. And my 16-year-old has now gotten her first vaccination against meningitis B. So I am speaking out of, being a mom and wanting to really raise awareness for ourselves, for each other.
Dr. Gillin, tell us more about meningitis and why might teens and young adults be at an increased risk?
So meningococcal disease, or meningitis, is a rare but serious infection that can cause complications and even death. So 1 in 10 individuals will die as soon as 24 hours, and despite our medical care. 1 in 5 individuals will have permanent damage, so limb amputation, hearing loss, and permanent neurologic damage. And teenagers and young adults, so ages 16 to 23, are at an increased risk for meningitis due to common teen behaviors. So they live in small spaces and they share just about everything. So they practically live on top of each other and they share water bottles, utensils, and because of that, they're at an increased risk for meningitis.
And Doctor, have most teens and young adults already received the meningitis B vaccination? And what questions should parents be asking their child's doctors about this?
That's a great question. So no, they have not. So meningitis B vaccination has been available since 2014. And yet in 2020, 7 out of 10 17-year-olds had not received one dose of meningitis B vaccination. And so parents are often confused because there are two different meningitis vaccinations. One is given at an earlier age. It's against A, C, W, and Y serotypes, and another one against meningitis B. And so parents often think that they've already had the vaccination when they've had the different one at an earlier age, and they have not had the meningitis B vaccination. And this is serious. Meningitis B is serious. And what I ask is that people talk to their healthcare providers. And Ask to Be Sure is the campaign, asktobesure.com, to learn more about meningitis B and meningitis B vaccination.
Soleil, what do you want parents to know about meningitis?
This has been an incredible journey. For me, I think it's really important that we have these dialogues, that we advocate for our kids, and that we have conversations and to learn more for what's right for your family. And to talk to the families that have been affected by this, to speak to survivors, to speak to Patty, who lost her daughter a week before prom. Patty's a nurse, and within days, her daughter was gone. So to realize how deadly this really is, how life-threatening it can be, and to make the choice that is right for your family, to be able to gather the information, to have conversations, to not be afraid to ask our healthcare providers, to ask questions. I'm a mom who's a student, who's learning, who just wants to digest as much information and be able to have these conversations.
And to go on to
Ask
to Be Sure. Sorry, just to go on to asktobesure.com to get that information about meningitis B and meningitis B vaccination.
Well, thank you so much. Yes, Ask to Be Sure is a place that everyone can go for more information. Really appreciate your time today, Soleil and Dr. Gillin, this important cause, talking about young adults and meningitis B vaccination.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.